Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for a match preview for Villa's trip away to Man City on Saturday.
Well, our trip to the Ethiad, Dan Bardell. In previous times,
Have you ever called me Dan Bardell before? That was a bit weird.
I think in previous times we would have looked on that and gone, oh no, we're in real trouble here. But there feels like a little bit of optimism around Villa. 2 wins in a row, and Manchester City have shown that they're fallible.
Yeah.
Can we get something from this weekend's trip?
Absolutely, Tom Julian. I think we can, genuinely. I'm not saying we're going to, but I think it's plausible. You only have to look at Wolves going there the other week and coming away with a 2-0. They're a fantastic team. They've got some absolute superstars, world-class players. But at the moment, I don't get the same feeling around Man City that I've had the last 2 years, where they've been absolutely unstoppable. Yeah,
it feels like it's not out there, but it feels like there's a little bit of discontent because the results have been so dominant, and they obviously had that all-or-nothing show where it just looked like everything was kind of perfect, essentially. But you've had the results with Norwich, you've had the results with Wolves. What does Dean Smith look at those 2 games and go, I can translate into that Villa team?
I think the high press of Norwich, I watched the 90 minutes of the Norwich game. I think Norwich high pressed them and it caused them all sorts of problems. And Stones and Otamendi were centre backs that game, and I think they'll probably be centre backs together on Saturday. He's been playing 2 central midfielders at centre back the last couple of games, Fernandinho and Rodri, but Rodri went off injured on Tuesday night in the Champions League. I think it will be Fernandinho moving to midfield, and I think it will be Otamendi and Stones. Yeah. Pukki and the Norwich guys, they high pressed, and Otamendi and Stones couldn't deal with it. The danger with that is if you high press, you then end up, they can bypass your midfield and play through the lines, and you don't want that. And I thought in the game on Saturday, I thought Nakamba looked a bit isolated at times when Bruyne were breaking forward. It was kind of him against the world, and if we do that against Man City, we'll be in all kinds of problems.
Yes.
But that can be. I think, talking about them not being the same team, I feel like they've lost company. Even though he didn't play every week, it was such a massive player for them, a massive part of the dressing room.
Yeah.
Delph as well. If you watch that All or Nothing series, you'll know that he was a big part of the squad, a very vocal presence. He was one of the few that seemed to stand up to Pep when he was talking. So that's 2 leaders gone. It's Silva and Fernandinho who seem to be the captains now. They don't strike me, especially Silva, as the most vocal presence, someone that's going to point out things that are wrong. And I think there's a few things shaky at City at the moment. They're not replacing company. Laporte's got injured. I don't think Stones and Otamendi are all that. So I think it's a decent time to go there and give them a game.
Yeah, we've seen the star man Jack Grealish kind of really take games by the scruff of the neck in the last couple of weeks, particularly. What does he have to do to help Villa get a result on the weekend?
I mean, if he plays like he did on Saturday, he'll cause them problems. We're obviously not going to have loads of the ball. We're not going to have as much of the ball. Although I think Bruyne had more possession than us, possibly still. It was close. Yeah. There's going to be times where we have to sit in and we don't have the ball. And I actually do think there'll be a change to the system slightly. I think there'll be a tweak. I think there'll be a change in personnel for Villa, which we'll come on to just solid us up.
Solid us up.
A little bit. Does that work? Solidify us?
Solidify, I think.
Jack's capable of going there and causing them problems. Yeah. We've got to get the ball to him quickly on the break and give him space to run into and cause them issues. We'll need to do a bit more up front than we did in the last game, although I'll say Wesley's best games at the moment seem to be coming away from home, and I am talking to Stones and Otamendi. Strike me as the kind of pair, and he might be able to physically bully a little bit if he's on his game. So I think that's what we've got to be looking to be doing.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Wesley. He was kept quiet relatively against Brighton. Nothing seemed to break right for him, but he has most success when he's kind of darting towards that near post and getting onto the crosses from Gilbert or from whoever's on the left-hand side. It's so fluid over there. You think he can get amongst the goals against Man City? Do you think he's got enough?
Yeah, as I say, I think his better games have been coming away from home, isn't it? I think we'll go there and I think we'll score a couple of goals. Yeah. It just depends on whether we can keep him out the other end, because we looked a little bit open against Bruyne, and even with 10 men you felt like Brighton might score. City will punish you if you're that open. It's just the way it is. And although I don't think we'll go there and play defensively, I think you do have to tweak things. You can't just go there and play your normal game, because they will completely pick you apart, man, sir.
Yeah, that's true. What you alluded to the kind of formation change or the personnel change, just a deeper lying defensive midfielder. Is that
I think Louise will be in for Connor.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And then Louise and Nakamba will kind of be protecting the back four a little bit, and then you got McGinn who'll be trying to break, get into the box and cause issues and get amongst the goals like he has done so far this season. With Jack coming in from the left, that trouble is with that is he's going to require a bit more discipline from Jack at the moment. He's very much got the free role, and he's had Connor drifting out wide to cover him when he's come inside. If you end up playing Louise there, he's not going to do that. He's going to have to stay very centrally in the camp. Everyone knows Connor's one of my favourite players. I would pick him 9 times out of 10. But I think Smith will want to go a little bit more defensive for this game, and I see the two of them playing together, Louise and Nakamba, and trying to sit in a little bit.
Yeah,
make us harder to break down. Because as I say, Nakamba looked a bit isolated against when people were breaking forward from Bruyne. It was kind of like, well, where are the others? They're playing so high up. There's no one anywhere near him.
El Ghazi keeps the shirt, do you think? Over Trezeguet?
I think that's a coin toss. I'm not sure what Smith will be thinking. I genuinely think it's a coin toss between the pair. At the Emirates, on a big pitch away at Arsenal in the first half, Trezeguet was causing massive issues on the break. Maybe that factors into Smith's thinking a little bit. If I had to put money on it, I would probably say he'll go Trezeguet.
Right.
People say you shouldn't change a winning team and all that, but I think it's just adapting to different personnel. I think against Liverpool, Connor will be back in. I just think for this game, there's obviously the Louise Man City thing as well, isn't there? How up for it is he going to be against a team that he's probably going to end up going to play for? I think it may be a good chance to put him in, and I think that will be in Smith's thinking.
Yeah.
Fullbacks are a massive part of our game at the moment, the wing backs, but they've have to pick their moments in this game. You can't Gilbert just goes every single time, and it's great to see and it's really refreshing to watch, but I don't think you can do that against Man City.
One of the things I wanted to talk to you was about our fullbacks, and there's they've been great. Target and Gilbert have been beyond what I could have expected, and they give us so much width. But there is that lack of experience potentially in the Premier League, especially I think with Gilbert, who's still quite new to English football. Is that a kind of area that we may find some trouble? Obviously, going against players like Sterling and Aguero, these world class players. Where's the worry for you?
I mean, they've got fantastic players. Aguero doesn't need much space to get a shot away and score a goal. Sterling's on red hot form. He scored a hat-trick last night.
Yeah.
De Bruyne is the best player in the league, in my opinion, on his day. Hopefully he won't play because he played in the midweek.
Yeah.
The 2 games he hasn't played, they've lost.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see him lining up on the bench, although I think there's absolutely no chance of that happening. There could be issues all over the pitch, couldn't there? But you often find in these games, Gilbert might really raise his defensive game against Sterling. If he gets off to a good start, gives him a boost, gives him some confidence, he may have a good day against him. I thought against Bruyne, Target kept getting caught in between.
Right.
So he wouldn't be that high. He wouldn't be like so high up the pitch you could see why he wasn't getting back, or he wasn't so defensive you could see why he wasn't far forward. He kept getting caught in the middle a little bit. You need to just be decisive in these games. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to be drilled. You've got to be organised. But you've got to know what you're doing when you do get the ball and pick the right times to break. I genuinely think we'll go there and score a couple of goals. I really do.
Yeah.
But Man City are capable of scoring an array of goals.
Yeah, well, one man.
Goals from everywhere.
One man you mentioned earlier was Kevin De Bruyne, who's a fantastic footballer and obviously had his troubles with injury, but kind of working his way back now. How do you keep a player like De Bruyne quiet? Do you put Nakamba on him and just track him? Is that possible to do with City's array of stars?
He's the main reason why I think it will be Louise and Nakamba in there, because Nakamba will need some help. And De Bruyne, a bit like Jack, but from the middle.
Yeah.
De Bruyne just pops up everywhere, and he loves to move into that right channel and whip in a low whipped cross.
Yeah.
He's so good at that. They get a lot of goals off De Bruyne just whipping in a hard and low cross. He's the danger man for me. If we stop him. And then there's obviously David Silva, Aguero, Sterling, other players, but he's the one they look for, and he's the one who's the main difference maker for them, I would say.
I think in our previews, I put him as Player of the Year this year, and obviously he hasn't quite got back to it yet, but he will want to make a statement, and early on, that he is still the main man in the Premier League, and I think he could be the star. And Man City have some great players, but he is a difference maker.
He's the one that worries me.
Yeah.
He really is the one that concerns me, De Bruyne.
Go on then. A score prediction. You think we're going to score a couple?
I'm going to go 3-2 to City, and this isn't me predicting us to lose because it seems to mean that we win when I've made that prediction the last 2 weeks. I've done on purpose, and it seems to have worked.
Right.
I just think we'll run them close because I think we are fearless. The good thing for us is with De Bruyne's whip crosses is I think Mings and Engels are both as adept on the floor as they are in the air. So if we're positionally sound and you keep your eye on Aguero when De Bruyne's whipping those balls into Sterling at the back post, that's why you like you said the fullbacks are massive. Because again they get a lot of goals from the winger coming in at the back stick. I think it'll be a high scoring game. I think 3-2 to City though.
I'm going to go 3-1 to City. I don't share your optimism with us scoring as many as two.
Why Ebenezer? What's wrong? What's wrong? We're goal scoring too. Mate, they play so expansively, they leave holes.
You could be right.
Stones and Otamendi will be playing on the halfway line, and I tell you, obviously we were talking off camera earlier, John Stones has got errors all in him, so has Otamendi.
I back John Stones a bit more than you do. I think you're right, though. If we can get a bit like John McGinn...
John Stones for England.
You wouldn't?
No, I'd go Maguire and Mings.
Yeah, but I think it's Mings' place to lose now, for sure. But Stones is a good player.
To happen.
Well, we'll see on the weekend, but I think like the Spurs game, if we can get in behind that high defence that City will play, then we'll have our chances. But we've also got to take them. You know, we were wasteful against Brighton, and we do need to be. We're not going to get as many chances, and we need to take them when we get them. And I just think that City will have so much of the ball and so much of the so many chances that there may be cracks in behind us. Again, Brighton got in behind us. We've seen a couple of times that we've been exposed a little bit, and you can't give Man City those kind of opportunities.
Psychologically, though, I think as a footballer, you're not on it as much when you're playing Brighton as you are at Man City. You know you've got to be on it, and I think, I genuinely think the way they play, and I saw it with Atalanta last night, and I know they lost 5-1, but in the first half they were more than a match for them.
Right.
There's space to drive into, and that suits Grealish and McGinn.
But doesn't that emphasise my point that we if we're going to get those chances, we need to bury them, because otherwise Man City are going to come back at us and they're going to take their chances.
I'm reading between the lines here. What I'm thinking you're saying to me here is if we get the chance, Wesley isn't going to score. Even if that's true, though, there's El Ghazi, McGinn and Grealish on good form. And if Connor does play, and I'm wrong about the team selection, there's players there that will take chances.
Sure, exactly. But on Saturday against Brighton, we saw McGinn blast one over the bar. We saw Douglas Luiz send his wide. We saw Wesley miss a couple. We saw these chances. All I'm saying is we will have chances. You're absolutely right, but there'll be less forthcoming, I think, against Man City, and we need to be able to take them when they come.
Yeah, we had a lot of chances against Norwich and we scored.
Different beast.
Yeah.
Different.
2 minutes. Yes. So I'm trying to get in the booth, so we're going to have to go.
We're going to have to wrap it up. So you're going 3-2 City. I'm going to go 3-1 City. Hoping for more positivity than that.
Yeah.
But we shall see.
Yeah.
You'll be in the booth for the podcast next week.
Yeah, talking about the game. Monday we're going to record the podcast, so fresh, and the person that I'm doing the podcast with will have been at the game.
Yes.
As well, so that's good. I'll be watching. I'm going to be watching Sutton actually somewhere.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't know where yet. Maybe the gate.
Nice.
I'm going to go to the gate and watch the game, I think, because I'm not there this weekend. But yeah, thanks for watching this match preview. If you can like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, then that would be absolutely fantastic. And fingers crossed, we'll come away with something on Saturday.
Absolutely. Up the Villa.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.